Ladies and gentlemen, I've come to make an announcement. The RWBY fandom's a bitch-ass motherfucker.
You can't say that!
I am officially declaring war on the RWBY fandom. Yeah, this one's a long time coming, people. I have done my absolute best not to tackle anything related to the fandom because 90% of the time, it just isn't relevant. I want my arguments about the show and its characters and its story to stand on their own regardless of what the fandom or even fellow critics think of them. And I think so far I've done my job. So when I tell you that this fandom topic pisses me off to no end, I am being real with you right now. I can laugh off everything else this shit show has thrown at me or others over the years, but this one I have to get off my chest. Let it be known though, I am not trying to bully the entirety of the fandom, but people like this.
90% of the people who tell me the show that's dearest to me is bad bring this fucking video up. It did do harm. Not because criticism is bad, but because everyone on the internet saw this as their intro to the show and passed it off because this video told me so. This is such an ignorant take, lol.
Move on from something that literally tarnishes RWBY's reputation and is literally among the first things you see when you look RWBY up on YouTube? People literally quote this video left and right when it comes to criticizing the show. The way this happened to me twice.
RWBY just isn't that good. Have you seen RWBY? No, but I watched the Hbomberguy vid. Hbomberguy's vid really did so much fucking damage to any potential viewership, and the general fandom isn't even aware of it because his audience didn't even fucking know about the show in the first place. Oh my fucking god, have you ever heard of a fucking period? Like, my man really decided to rant about the show for 3 hours in what was the biggest Monty-defying and dick-sucking I have ever seen in my life. And his audience just took everything he said for granted because they know jack shit about the show beforehand. And, like, you know jack shit about putting a period in your fucking shit. Why are you so retarded?
So 5 years ago, Hbomberguy made his big video about RWBY, and the fandom has not recovered since. There's a particularly controversial take among the loudest of the fandom, a popular take that suggests his video did huge damage to RWBY's reputation. They claim that because the video became so popular, a significant number of haters started to suddenly crash into positive RWBY discourse just to rain on their parade by invoking Hbomberguy's videos without really making an argument for themselves. And they are apparently still doing that to this day, 5 years after the video ended.
Oh, that's stupid.
No, this is what they actually think, and we'll get to that. While I disagree with the extremes of this mindset, it does have some merit. Yes, these videos do have some effect on people's perceptions of a piece of media. And there are dumbasses out there who don't bother coming to their own conclusions and hop on bandwagons because it's popular. That's annoying regardless of context, and I definitely don't condone it myself. I have a rule on my channel about that. If I never really experience the media for myself, or I don't have anything to add to it, I'm just not gonna talk about it. Keeps my videos fresh, and makes it so that regardless of what I make or do, I'm always adding something to whatever discourse I'm talking about. That said, I missed the part where it's the British's problem. Like, seriously, with the way that they are talking about Hbomberguy in this video, it's like Maximilian Pegasus taking the soul of Yugi's grandfather. This is like blaming the inventor of baby oil for P. Diddy. The people who go apeshit and go trolling a bunch of RWBY fans online would do the same exact shit anyway because some people like to bandwagon and find an excuse just to troll everybody. I doubt most people who watch Hbomberguy's video decide to just make fun of or dislike the show just because they watched it. You might say that's impossible to determine either way, in which case that already makes the people who say this even stupider than we originally thought, but how am I able to confidently say that most people who dislike the show and have watched the video are people who saw the show to begin with? Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen these assholes that RWBY fans keep talking about? Have these fans ever shared screenshots or messages from people who claim it's bad simply because a British guy told them so? Yeah, pics or it didn't happen. I don't care. I'm tired of people on the internet claiming that these people did something without providing any fucking evidence. I won't say that anyone is lying, because someone out there must have done it, and like I said, it's stupid when it happens, but I don't really think it's that big of a deal. If you're not willing to put them on blast, and yet blame the creator of a video for their shitty behavior, who had nothing to do with said shitty behavior, that's a clear sign that you should log the fuck out. The internet will always have these types of people. Block them and move on. I know it's such an asshole-ish and reductive thing to say, but that's because there are many factors that went into the success of Hbomberguy's video and why it remains uncontested for so long. Like, are we going to forget that Hbomberguy made this video after Volume 6? One of the most contentious volumes of the show? Literally ever since Volume 4, the fandom has been imploding with each season like a gender reveal party. Volume 5 had some of the worst handled plot lines, pacing, and definitely the worst final battles in the history of the show. Volume 6 started off fine enough, especially compared to its predecessor, but when we get to the midpoint of the volume, several story decisions split the fandom entirely. Like Jean reminiscing about Pure for the upteenth time, Oscar not getting a proper arc conclusion, Ruby's dumbass airplane plan, and Adam's lackluster death. And that's not even mentioning how Rooster Teeth has enough controversies to make Blizzard jealous. Up to Volume 6 alone, we left off on the Kick Vic stuff, the Glassdoor reviews, Shane's letter after Monty's death, or how the animation team got cut in half because one of RT's producers wanted to make fucking Genlock, aka one of the worst mecha shows of all time. All of which only got worse with each passing volume. And finally, the countless times the fandom itself shits all over the goodwill any sane person had left. To the point where several giants of the community, from both sides of the aisle, whether you're a hater or a critic or a fan or fangirl or whatever the hell you want to call yourself, came together in one video to tell all of you guys to calm the fuck down. A complete far cry from the resounding love and support this show got in its heyday. The show didn't get suddenly a bunch of hate, it progressed over time. In fact, a long time ago, back at around like Volume 3 or 4, negative videos about RWBY were very, very rare. To the point where some of the people who did it got accused of the worst of things by the fanbase. But of course, as the show went on, people's thoughts began to change. But nah, everything changed when the bald British guy attacked. Because you see, people, he committed the crime of saying he wanted the show to be good, and we can't have that apparently. Of course, if you're a critic of the show and you watched his video, it's nothing you haven't heard before. After all, Hbomberguy's video is essentially a condensed version of Fat Man's Falling's original trilogy of the first 3 volumes, you know, if you prefer someone complaining for 2 hours instead of 5. Both of their conclusions about the show are very, very goddamn similar. So this revisionist history that Hbomberguy made it significantly worse is nothing but a pack of Coca-Cola. And blaming him for bandwagoning assholes proves you're no better than they are, or even Rooster Teeth for that matter. Instead of actually addressing and acknowledging the worthwhile critiques from people who watch the show, you blame him for the crimes of random dickheads on the internet. This becomes even more frustrating because his vid is far from the fandom's first pound of flesh. For example, Vex Viewer is a RWBY critic who made their big splash around Volume 5 of the show. The videos he made before and around the time Hbomberguy's video were nothing but small, averaging at around 100 to 200k views each. The videos weren't essays, of course, they were more biting commentary about each specific flaw of the show. But he was twice as big and loud as Fat Man Falling even in his heyday, and fans hated him for it.
If I could kill it, I would.
But notice how little he's talked about these days. You might say that's because Vex barely makes videos now, and the post-Volume 9 era is leaving us all bone dry for content.
Feels like I've been waiting forever for that.
Fuck! Get on my level, anyway. But here's the thing, Hbomberguy isn't a RWBY tuber. He literally came out of nowhere to talk about the show and dipped like nothing happened afterwards. He just talked about it because he had an opinion on it. Yet the fandom see this video like their personal 9/11. And of course, there are many critics like Vex who have been saying the same shit about the show for years, yet they aren't the ones currently accused of ruining the fandom. Of course, I'm not saying the fandom doesn't throw a bunch of hate the critics' way, but they don't make preemptive posts like this except when they talk about Hbomberguy. And let's actually address this dumbass mindset about ruining the conversation. Hot take, Hbomberguy was not responsible for that. You let the conversation be ruined. When other franchises take a bunch of shit from people, there are 10 videos explaining why that person is wrong, clout be damned. Remember Jello Apocalypse, that guy who talked all kinds of shit about One Piece? The entire internet jumped that motherfucker. Hell, Mahler did that to Hbomberguy himself when he defended Dark Souls 2. He didn't give a fuck about his subs or view count. So what's your excuse? I mean, if you think Hbomberguy is so wrong about RWBY, why has no one who has watched the video and agreed with him, like, decided to look back and review his fucking homework? Because that happens pretty often, not gonna lie. In fact, for that matter, why have none of y'all in the past 5 fucking years made a video about it? Why spend time on Twitter, Tumblr, or Reddit wondering why the conversation got ruined instead of participating in the conversation? This is why I hate this dumbass mindset, even if what they say is true, because all that means is that people who say this shit are a bunch of lazy, entitled hypocrites. I can only count on 1 or 2 hands the number of people on YouTube who still make videos being positive about RWBY, mainly Phoenix Knight and Zellrider, the latter of which we talked about before. So, despite how these guys are so much about the conversation being ruined by big meanie critics like me and Hbomberguy, look at the views that Zell and Phoenix Knight's videos get. I mean, they barely crack a couple thousand. Hell, I've never seen either of these guys' videos being promoted on YouTube or Twitter in the past few years. Unless it's fan animation, fan art, or porn, y'all motherfuckers never promote shit that's positive towards the show. And apparently even that's a stretch. I have done more to promote Zellrider's content on my channel than any of these people ever have. Granted, of course, it's no big secret as to why. These videos suck. Bad thumbnails, bad sound quality, zero charisma, and subpar/basic ass editing, on top of their points not really holding up to scrutiny. If these are RWBY's strongest warriors, they are not sending their best. If I were a fan of the show, I wouldn't promote them either. But hey, y'all are the motherfuckers who think YouTube videos can mind control people into disliking a show, and you know what they say about beggars and choosers, right? Yet of course, these people do nothing but complain. They say that it's impossible for things to shift because Hbomberguy is such a big creator, as if the motherfucker came out the womb being the darling of BreadTube. Say what you want about him, but the guy worked his ass off to get to where he is. And however you feel about his coverage of RWBY, his opinions clearly resonated with people. If you want to convince everyone that the show is good, you can't just wait around and bitch how it's not given to you. Earn that shit. It shouldn't matter if it takes you 1 video, 2 videos, or 3 fucking hundred. Learn how to make decent YouTube vids, make well-structured arguments, and actually promote the shit you want to see on the platform. There's probably loads of things that people don't really understand in regards to his video that might be a bit subpar in retrospect. Keep this in mind, people. It takes a quarter of a normal paycheck to buy a used microphone and editing software, while everything from Google Docs to Audacity to every tutorial online is free 99, assuming you pay your internet bucks. It has never been easier to make well-structured, well-presented YouTube videos. You just need to back up what you say with a good performance and well-constructed arguments as as to why the show is good, which in my opinion don't exist, but hey, you do you. If you can't even do that, then promote the people who do. Stop waiting for a million sub YouTube Superman to come down from the heavens to save you from the British. Hell, stop driving away creators who could have become those people. Unicorn of War, for example, was your strongest meat writer. They were on a rampage, being an absolute asshole while trying to defend the show as much as possible. Yet the millisecond he said that the show wasn't perfect, you kicked his ass to the curb. And don't think I forgot about what you did to Judgmental Critter too. You treated her the exact same friggin' way. She wasn't coping as hard as Unicorn of War in regards to this stuff, but she leaned way more towards positive coverage of the show in the past, and even now still gives the show credit every now and then. Yet the minute she wanted the show to be better, the minute that she actually has a significant issue with the writing or the characters or whatever, all that goodwill that you guys gave to her immediately went away. Can I be real with y'all for a second? And again, this isn't me talking about the fandom as a whole. This is about the specific people I'm talking with you. I really want to level with you motherfuckers right now. You guys don't just want a content creator that you can agree with, who can set the record straight on the lies and the misinformation surrounding the show. No. That's not what you want. Be fucking honest. You want a cuck.
You've always been shitting yourself.
A spineless worm who cowers to your takes. That's why you guys hate Hbomberguy so much. Because he doesn't cower to your fatherless ass behavior while you sit there and do nothing but bitch. And that's assuming, again, that this entire mindset that you guys have is in any way helpful at all. When Moist Critical made his brief statements on stream about RWBY, the fandom crashed the fuck out in glorious fashion. I saw that shit firsthand. Yet you know what I didn't see? Hbomberguy's fucking name. At least by the haters anyway. Look at the top comments of the clip from Moist Critical stream when he talked about it. Barely any of them even mention Hbomberguy at all. The rest are people who are genuinely disappointed with where the show went. These people aren't brainwashed. They are people with their own thoughts and feelings and experiences because they watched the show and came to a consensus. Hottest take in 2025. Some people disagree with you about cartoons, and if it just so happens to be most people, you gotta fucking deal with it. If people resonate with a video made 5 years ago and they don't like the show, that's not the video's fault. Blame the people who go overboard about it. Block them. Stop shadowboxing someone into existence that barely even exists in your purview. Like, I have a hard time believing that you guys are so swarmed with all these people who randomly come into your chats, into your forums or whatever, just to rain on your parade surrounding positive RWBY talking points. It's fucking ridiculous. Sure, disagreements on Twitter happen every now and again, but that happens on both sides. I'm sure if I said something pretty fucking negative about the show, there'd be 10 of you motherfuckers coming in my comments. It makes me feel like these people don't simply want someone with an alternative opinion to take a stand or change the conversation, as it were. They want to control it. They feel insecure that most people dislike the show that they think is so great, and now they gotta make it Hbomberguy's problem. And if it isn't Hbomberguy, it's somebody else. It's always a YouTuber that is the issue, instead of the general public who made up their minds. As if people need that much of a reason to hate on a piece of media. So you know what? Fuck it. Let me do your job for you. Meet Adam Splitters Entertainment. This guy has been criticizing Hbomberguy's video apparently for the past fucking year, yet he barely cracks a few hundred views each video. I haven't seen a single one of his videos. I don't even know if they're good. But guess what? At least he seems to care enough to do something about it. Maybe I'll respond to him someday, who knows? So go ahead, fandom, watch his videos. But if I don't see these millions of RWBY fans that come out to support this guy by the end of the next month, then I have every right to say this. Hbomberguy didn't ruin your fandom. YouTube videos do not ruin your fandom. You did. Thanks as always, people. Another day, another fun video, and we got more on the way. Like, comment, subscribe if you like what you see, want to share your thoughts, and want to see more. And if you're feeling real generous, support me on Patreon. For just $1 a month, y'all can jump onto my Discord server.
With blackjack and hookers.
I know, genius name, came up with it myself. And you can get shoutouts at the end of each new video, if you're into that sort of thing. You want to see some behind the scenes stuff too? Feel free to throw in some more. Stay tuned.